Welcome, gents. The strongest souls are forged in the fires no one else can see. Being a Sigma male isn't some cool internet trend. It's not about being mysterious on purpose or rejecting people just to feel powerful. It's a real, often painful way of moving through the world when you simply don't fit the mold, and you never have. If you've ever felt like you're always thinking too deeply, seeing too much, or feeling completely out of place in crowds, chances are you're not broken, you're just different, a Sigma male. You don't crave attention, you don't follow, you lead yourself. And while that sounds strong, it also comes with a heavy price. This video isn't here to glorify the struggle, but to acknowledge it. Because being a Sigma male is hard. You fight battles most people never notice. You're expected to stay strong even when no one checks on you. You get misunderstood, underestimated, and sometimes even punished for being real. But here's the truth. Your silence has power, your solitude has purpose, and your journey, while lonely, is shaping a man the world rarely sees but deeply needs. So if you've been wondering why life feels extra heavy on your shoulders, you're not alone. You're not weak. You're walking a path meant only for those strong enough to carry it. And today we're breaking down 11 brutally honest reasons why Sigma males have such hard lives. And why it all matters. Let's get into it, gents. Number 1. They're often the black sheep in their own family. For Sigma males, being misunderstood doesn't stop at school or work. It often starts at home. In many families, especially traditional ones, there's an unspoken rule. This is how we do things. Don't question it. Just follow the script. But Sigma males, they question everything. From a young age, they start asking why things are done a certain way. Why the family celebrates a tradition they don't believe in. Why certain topics are swept under the rug. Why everyone has to go down the same path, college, marriage, kids, as if life were some kind of assembly line. This questioning is rarely welcomed. It makes relatives uncomfortable. Parents might see it as rebellion or disrespect. Siblings may roll their eyes or say, "Why can't you just go with the flow like the rest of us?" And that's exactly the problem. Sigma males don't flow with the crowd, even if the crowd is blood. Take a family gathering, for example. While everyone's bonding over shared opinions and familiar routines, the Sigma male might be sitting quietly in the corner, watching, analyzing, and feeling totally out of place. Not because he doesn't love his family, but because he sees through the unspoken dynamics, the forced smiles, the subtle power plays, and he wants no part of it. Over time, this difference becomes a gap. The family might label him the difficult one, the loner, or too deep. They don't get that he's not trying to be different. He is different. He's simply not built to fake comfort in systems that demand silence and submission. Being the black sheep is lonely, sure, but Sigma males would rather be honest and distant than close and fake. Their detachment isn't a lack of love, it's self-preservation. And even when their family doesn't understand them, they stay true to themselves. Because fitting in is optional, but integrity, that's non-negotiable. Number 2. They're punished for being too honest. Sigma males don't do sugarcoating. It feels fake to them. If something's off, they'll say it. If a friend is lying to themselves, they'll call it out. If a room is filled with silence and denial, they'll be the one to break it. Not for drama, but because pretending eats away at them. This brutal honesty isn't about being rude, it's about being real. Sigma males simply don't have the patience for false harmony or shallow praise. They value truth over comfort, depth over diplomacy. But here's the catch. Most people don't actually want the truth. They say they do, but what they really want is validation. They want to be agreed with. They want to feel safe in their illusions. So when a Sigma male speaks up, calm, clear, and unfiltered, it rattles people. It makes them uncomfortable. And that's when things shift. Friends who once admired their insight start keeping their distance. Family members get defensive. Co-workers feel threatened. Suddenly, the Sigma male is labeled as too intense, harsh, or difficult to be around, all because they told the truth everyone else tiptoed around. Let's say a friend keeps dating toxic people. Most people nod, listen, and give generic advice like, "You'll figure it out." The Sigma male, he'll ask, "Why do you keep choosing chaos over peace?" It hits deep, and it stings, but it's real. And real makes people squirm. Over time, Sigma males learn that honesty has a cost. It can turn friends into enemies. It can create tension in the room. It can close doors others keep wide open with small lies and fake smiles. But still, they don't stop. because betraying themselves just to fit in feels worse than being alone. Their honesty isn't for attention, it's their code, and even when it isolates them, it also protects them from living a life that isn't true. Number 3, they see too much. For Sigma males, life isn't just about what's happening on the surface. They're tuned into everything underneath. It's not something they try to do, it just happens. They walk into a room and immediately notice the tension between two people, the forced smile on someone's face, or the way someone's tone doesn't match their words. They catch micro-expressions, those split-second flashes of emotion most people miss. A flicker of annoyance, a glance of envy, a fake laugh. While others take things at face value, Sigma males are already 5 layers deep, processing tone, body language, pauses in speech and behavioral patterns. It's like their brain runs on high alert 24/7. This hyper-awareness makes them great at understanding people, but it comes at a cost. It's exhausting. Imagine walking around all day with your brain stuck on analyze mode. While others are casually enjoying conversations, the Sigma male is quietly observing the subtext of everything. Why did she suddenly change her tone? Why is he tapping his foot? What's not being said here? It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. And once you start seeing these patterns, you can't unsee them. This makes small talk unbearable. Surface-level conversations feel like mental torture because their minds are wired to dig deeper, to find what's really going on. This is why Sigma males often prefer solitude. Being around people too long wears them down, not because they dislike others, but because their minds won't stop dissecting everything. Even in relationships, this trait can cause tension. They might call out things their partner didn't even realize they were doing, which can feel unsettling or intrusive to others. But this ability also protects them. It helps them avoid manipulation, spot lies instantly, and make wise judgments about who to trust. It's both a shield and a weight, one that makes life lonelier, but far more real. Number 4, they carry emotional scars from early rejection. For many Sigma males, childhood wasn't a playground filled with carefree laughter. Instead, it was a battleground where rejection and isolation were constant companions. These early experiences aren't just things that happened and then faded. They left deep marks that still shape how they live and relate today. Being the quiet kid, the loner, or the one who didn't quite fit in is no small thing. It's a silent kind of pain, one that doesn't always show on the surface but carves into their soul. That early exclusion makes them build emotional armor, thick walls to protect themselves from the hurt they know too well. This armor keeps others out, but it also keeps feelings locked away. It makes trusting and opening up incredibly hard. They've been burned before by peers, by family, by the world that didn't understand them. So they learn to rely mostly on themselves because no one else seemed willing to. But that doesn't mean they're unfeeling, far from it. Inside, there's often a deep well of emotions, longing, sadness, sometimes anger, that they rarely let anyone see. The scars from early rejection make them cautious with their hearts, slow to let others in, and fiercely independent. This history shapes their whole outlook. They don't expect to be accepted easily, so they prepare for loneliness and disappointment. Yet it also gives them a rare kind of strength, a survival instinct that pushes them to keep going, keep striving, even when it feels like the world is against them. So beneath the tough exterior, those emotional scars are both a burden and a source of quiet power. They remind Sigma males of how far they've come and why they can never settle for shallow connections or fake friendships. Number 5, they can't turn their mind off. Stillness doesn't mean silence for a Sigma male. You might see him sitting alone, eyes calm, not saying a word, but inside his mind is a full-blown thunderstorm, thoughts clashing, memories flashing, scenarios unfolding. There's always something happening in there. While others can zone out, binge watch a show, or just relax, Sigma males rarely get that luxury. Their brain refuses to shut up. It's like an engine that never powers down. Even in moments that are supposed to be peaceful, like lying in bed, taking a walk, or staring out the window, their mind is working, unpacking something from 10 years ago, predicting 5 steps ahead, rehearsing what they should have said, imagining what might go wrong or right next, and the worst part, they don't really know how to stop it. That relentless overthinking doesn't come with an off button. You see, Sigma males are deep processors. They don't just feel things, they dissect them. They don't just hear what people say, they hear why they said it, what they didn't say, and how it connects to 5 other things. Their mind is a web of constantly firing ideas, observations, and questions. This makes them brilliant thinkers, but it also makes rest feel impossible. Even when they're physically still, mentally they're running marathons. They lie awake at night, analyzing past decisions or preparing for future battles no one else even sees coming. And silence? It's not peace. Sometimes it's actually louder. Because when the world quiets down, their mind turns up. It fills the room with what ifs. Why did that happen? And what does it mean? It's exhausting. But here's the thing, that same restless mind is also what makes them extraordinary. It's why they see through things others miss. It's why they're always 10 steps ahead. So while it may rob them of peace, it also sharpens them like no one else. Still, even the sharpest minds need rest. And for Sigma males, that might just be the hardest thing to find. Number 6. They rarely receive the credit they deserve. Sigma males don't chase the spotlight. They don't crave applause or public recognition. They work quietly, independently, often behind the scenes, making moves and solving problems without needing a crowd to notice. That's their style, low-key, no fanfare. But here's the catch. The world tends to reward noise, not substance. Loud voices get heard first. Showy achievements get celebrated. And those who keep it subtle, who do the heavy lifting without making a scene, often get overlooked. Because Sigma males don't brag or advertise their wins, their contributions can go unnoticed, even by the people who benefit most from their efforts. They'll fix a problem no one else can, handle a crisis with calm precision, or innovate in silence, and the credit goes to whoever shouted the loudest or played the politics best. It's not that Sigma males want praise, they just want to feel seen, to know their work matters, but too often they're left in the shadows, underestimated or ignored. This constant undervaluing can be a heavy weight. It breeds frustration and bitterness even if they don't show it. When you pour your energy into something only to be sidelined or dismissed, it stings. It makes you question if you're making the right moves or if it's even worth it. Still, Sigma males keep going, because for them the mission is bigger than recognition. They measure success by results, not applause, but make no mistake, being invisible in a world that values visibility comes with a cost. It means feeling alone in your victories, knowing your work changes things, yet rarely being thanked for it. Being the unsung hero is a lonely role, and that's the quiet burden Sigma males carry, changing the game without anyone really noticing. Number 7. They're perpetually misunderstood in relationships. Sigma males aren't the easiest people to figure out, especially in love. They value their space and independence so much that it's not just a preference, it's a need. This need for autonomy can look like distance or disinterest to others, especially partners who don't get their way of being. They don't crave constant texting, daily check-ins, or social media displays of affection. They don't want to merge identities or be tied down by endless expectations. Instead, they show love quietly and deeply, often through actions rather than words. But that quiet loyalty gets missed. Instead of being seen as committed and genuine, they're often labeled cold, distant, or uninvested. Partners misread their independence as a lack of care, which creates a painful misunderstanding that drives wedges between them. This misunderstanding leads to breakups and loneliness, not because Sigma males don't care, but because the world around them doesn't understand how they love. They love hard, but on their own terms. They give deeply, but need room to breathe. The truth is, their loyalty runs deep beneath that calm exterior. When they commit fully. But they won't sacrifice their sense of self or autonomy for the sake of a relationship. And that boundary can be hard for others to accept. So Sigma males often find themselves alone, not by choice, but by circumstance. They want connection, but on terms that respect their nature, and that's rare. It's a hard balance to strike between closeness and freedom. They're stuck being misunderstood in relationships, caught between wanting to give love and needing space to be themselves. And in that lonely place, many Sigma males quietly suffer, longing for someone who gets that their love isn't less, just different. Number 8, they refuse to be anyone's puppet. Sigma males don't just dislike control, they can't tolerate it. The moment someone tries to pull their strings, whether it's a boss, partner, parent, or even a so-called friend, something inside them snaps. It's not rebellion for the sake of rebellion, it's deeper than that. It's about self-respect. They weren't born to be managed. They weren't built to be told what to think, who to be, or how to live. Their path might be quiet and off the grid, but it's theirs. And the second someone tries to hijack it, Sigma males push back hard. They don't care if control is disguised as love, guidance, or for your own good. If it smells like manipulation, even a little, they'll walk away. And when they walk, they don't look back. Sounds strong, right? And it is. But here's the part people don't talk about, that strength comes at a cost. They've lost jobs because they wouldn't play corporate politics or kiss up to fragile bosses. They've lost friendships because they wouldn't play sidekick to someone else's ego. They've lost relationships because they wouldn't mold themselves into someone else's ideal partner. They've been called too cold, too distant, too stubborn, but really all they were doing was protecting their freedom. See, Sigma males would rather be alone and free than loved and controlled. That kind of mindset scares people because most people can't handle that level of independence. Most people need to belong somewhere, even if it means giving up a piece of themselves. Sigma males, they'd rather keep their soul intact, even if it means walking solo. And that's what makes them rare. They don't play roles, they don't perform, they don't twist themselves into shapes to make others feel comfortable. They live unfiltered, even when it costs them everything. No, they're not easy to handle, but that's the point. They were never meant to be puppets. Number 9, no one comes to save them. For Sigma males, the world doesn't come rushing when they fall. No safety net, no cheering squad, no "are you okay" texts, just silence. Unlike alphas who often have followers eager to jump in and help, or betas who may draw sympathy from others, Sigma males live in a much colder reality, one where you fall and you better figure out how to stand again, because no one's coming. They don't expect handouts. They don't cry for help, not because they're too proud, but because they've learned that help rarely ever shows up. Life taught them that early, so they adapted. They stopped waiting. They stopped hoping someone else would fix the mess or rescue them from the fire. Instead, they became their own backup plan. When they break, they do it silently. When they bleed, it's behind closed doors. And when they rise, no celebration, no applause. Just a quiet return to the world like nothing ever happened. It sounds heroic, even admirable, but here's the truth. It's exhausting. Carrying your own weight all the time, fixing yourself over and over again, pretending you're okay when no one even bothers to ask. It hardens you. Not in a bitter way, but in a way that makes you colder, sharper, more detached. People don't understand the kind of strength it takes to suffer silently, to keep moving without support, to be your own savior every single time. It's not glamorous, it's lonely. And yet Sigma males do it like it's second nature, because that's the path they've accepted, the price of being self-reliant, the cost of choosing truth over comfort. They don't wear capes, they don't want praise, they just want peace. And if that means walking alone through the storm, then so be it. That's what makes Sigma males rare. Not that they fall, but that they rise without a single hand to pull them up. Number 10, they challenge authority and pay the price. Sigma males aren't built to follow blindly. They don't just nod and obey because someone's wearing a suit, holding a title, or barking orders. They think for themselves, and in a world that rewards obedience over insight, that kind of thinking gets punished. Sigmas question everything, the rules, the leadership, the motives, the system itself, not to rebel for attention, but because their mind won't let them pretend. If something doesn't make sense, they speak up. If something feels off, they push back. That quiet defiance, it makes authority figures nervous. Whether it's at work, in school, or under government systems, Sigma males always end up on the wrong side of just follow the rules. They don't worship hierarchy. They don't play politics. They don't bow to people just because they're in charge. And that refusal to submit, it comes with a price. They're labeled as difficult, disruptive, or uncooperative. They get passed over, shut out, or quietly removed from the room. People in power don't like being questioned, especially not by someone who doesn't flinch, flatter, or fake respect. But Sigma males don't care about titles. They care about truth, about fairness, about not betraying their own intelligence just to keep a paycheck or a seat at the table. And because they won't bend, they often walk away from environments that most people would kill to stay in. This makes life harder. It means fewer shortcuts, fewer allies, and a lot more closed doors. But it also means they stay free. Free from selling out, free from pretending, free from the fake respect that comes from being someone they're not. Sigma males know this. Obedience might buy you comfort, but it often costs you your soul. And they'd rather struggle in truth than thrive in lies. That's what makes them dangerous in the eyes of the system, and extraordinarily rare in the eyes of those who understand. Number 11. They attract the broken and end up fixing others. Sigma males don't go around trying to save people, but something about them, maybe it's their calm energy, maybe it's the way they listen without judgment, draws the wounded in like moths to a flame. People who are emotionally bruised, lost, or broken often find comfort in a Sigma's presence. Why? Because Sigma males don't panic when someone falls apart. They don't run from pain. They sit with it. They understand chaos because they've lived through their own. That grounded energy feels safe. And in today's world, safe is rare. But here's the problem. People start to lean on them without ever asking how much weight they're already carrying. Sigma males become emotional shelters for others. They listen, they guide, they soothe, but nobody stops to ask how they're doing. No one ever thinks the Sigma might be silently falling apart too. It's always a one-way street. People come into their lives looking for healing, for stability, for someone to hold their chaos together. And Sigma males deliver, not because they have to, but because they can. The cost, their peace, their energy, their emotional bandwidth. And it doesn't stop there. Once these broken people feel better, they often leave. They take what they needed and disappear, leaving the Sigma drained and alone again. It's a pattern that repeats more than they'd like to admit. And while they won't complain and rarely show hurt, it chips away at them slowly. They're not bitter, they're just tired. Tired of being the fixer, the rock, the therapist, the healer, while no one shows up for them in the same way. That's the silent burden of Sigma males. They attract the broken, they carry what others can't, and they almost never get the same love in return. But even so, they keep showing up. Because being a Sigma means choosing strength, even when it costs you everything. Number 12, they can't relate to most men or fit into brotherhoods. Here's something no one really talks about. Sigma males don't feel at home in most male circles. While the world tries to group all men under one big brotherhood, Sigma males see straight through it. And honestly, they're not impressed. Typical male groups tend to revolve around status, dominance, and one-upmanship. It's about being the loudest in the room, the toughest, the flashiest, the one with the best stories. There's always a pecking order, always some subtle or not so subtle flexing going on. And for Sigma males, all of that feels empty. They don't want to compete. They want to connect. They don't want shallow banter. They want substance. And that's exactly why most brotherhoods feel more like performance stages than actual bonds. It's not that they hate other men, far from it. They can respect strength, admire intelligence, and even enjoy real male friendship when it's based on mutual respect. But when ego starts running the show, when the group becomes about fake loyalty, forced bonding, or acting like someone you're not just to belong, that's when Sigma males quietly step out. No drama, no confrontation, just a silent goodbye. This makes life harder for them, because while they prefer solitude, they're still human. They feel the weight of having no tribe, no consistent support system. They walk through life solo, not because they want to, but because most tribes feel like cages pretending to be brotherhoods. And yet, that solitude builds them. It sharpens their mind, deepens their thinking, and teaches them how to rely on their own strength. While others need validation from the group, Sigma males move in silence. And that quiet independence is exactly what makes them rare. So no, they don't fit in with most men, but they're not here to fit in. They're here to be real, and sometimes that means walking alone. In final words, sometimes the price of being different is being misunderstood, but being true to yourself is always worth it. Being a Sigma male isn't a trend, a phase, or a performance. It's a path, a hard, often lonely one. You're wired to walk your own road, ask the hard questions, and think deeper than most people dare to. That makes life tougher for you. It's not just about being misunderstood by society. It's about constantly wrestling with your own mind, your standards, and your instincts. The world often punishes men like you for not playing the game. You don't chase attention, you don't fake smiles, you don't submit to systems that make no sense. And that makes you stand out, but also leaves you out in the cold. You've probably had to fight for your peace, your identity, and your sanity without anyone clapping for you. No safety nets, no cheering squad, just you and your will to rise, again and again and again. But here's what many miss: what makes Sigma males powerful isn't just their independence. It's their ability to carry deep pain without losing their depth. It's the fact that, despite the weight, they still love, still think, still move forward. You don't fold, you adapt, quietly, relentlessly. You may not be understood by many, but those who get you, really get you, know they're in the presence of someone rare. So if you've ever felt like your path is harder, it's because it is. But don't confuse difficulty with failure. The road you walk isn't crowded because it takes a different kind of strength, the kind that can't be taught, only earned. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and most of all, don't dim yourself just to make others more comfortable. You're not here to be accepted, you're here to be authentic. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.